sprayer. She's trying to get me through the mattress.
Asshole. Where did I put my... Oh, it's right here. I'm like, where did I put my phone? I can't share. Can't share if I can't find my phone. Where'd you come from? Damn it, Jack. I thought you were in the living room. Shit.
Hello, everyone. What?
Sometimes I want to die, but then I remember the world would be a better place without me, so I keep living.
Punishment for y'all.
There you go. People are funny. Okay, where's my stinking
live? And that's the shit I love about you.
I am hello everybody. Come on in. We're gonna do readings. It took us a while to figure out what we were gonna do tonight because we just couldn't decide of all the many things that we're capable of. We just had to pick a couple. So
yes,
we decided to do January taroscope readings again, since that was so much fun at the beginning of the month, or past life readings. So you have an option of past life readings or January, what's coming for you in January. And those are $25, y'all, because we're splitting it in half.
Yes, we are.
If I could just find my live, I would be thrilled.
Yep, that's what I was just doing as well. I was trying to find it.
Why is my Bluetooth?
So,
I don't know. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Crystal. Come on.
Hello,
in.
Cheryl. Hello, Crystal.
Come on in. I haven't been here in 2 whole days. 2 whole days. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in. Because it's only it's at a 25%, but I don't trust it. Hi, Jessie. How are you both doing? We're doing well. Jessie's watching us on YouTube tonight.
Oh,
what do you want, Jessie? What do you want, Jackson?
Attention.
What is with the cats tonight?
I don't know. Needy.
They're very needy. Why they gotta be like that? Ooh, watch out, Jack. Happy Saturday, Sherry.
Happy Saturday.
I don't think I've done past life readings in quite some time.
I did a couple at the beginning of the week, I believe.
Did you?
It was my special for the day.
It's been a minute. Not gonna lie.
I like past life readings.
I do too, but only in so much as it can help you understand your current life karma.
Yes. And I usually, when I do past life readings, I make sure to explain that part. Like, it's like, this happened in this life. So in your current life, you might find yourself really drawn to the ocean, or, like collecting little trinkets, or, things like that. And usually that always resonates with them. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've always collected this and this and this, or, whatever. And I love that about past life readings, because it's like, we talked about them at dinner tonight, and it's like,
maybe that's why it popped in my mind that we should do them live.
Because remember when we first met, and I had such bad heart palpitations. I was always scared I was going to have a heart attack. And you were like, in your most recent past life, you died from a heart attack at a young age. I want to say it was like 34. And so that's where that fear comes from, like you starving in one of your lives, so now when you're hungry,
like we were just talking about that tonight, because as soon as I get hungry, I panic.
Yes, and she's like, I'm starving.
Super anxious, and I am like, I have to eat right now, and it's not normal, because like people can be hungry and be fine and not die.
Yeah, like me.
Uh,
I'm like, when I'm hungry, I'm like, "Oh, I'll eat in a little bit," just whatever.
yeah,
But
and I'm
you're
like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm just gonna die, and that's because of a recent past life.
Yep,
So,
that makes sense. That's why I enjoy the past life readings because it's like, I don't know why that's comforting. Like when I start to like have any bodily sensations that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack?" And then I'm like, "No,
right,
no,"
exactly.
like
You're not dying. You're not having a heart attack.
it's
Everything's
just
gonna be okay.
fear, residual fear.
Mhm.
Calm down, Ashley.
Calm down. You're okay.
You're not gonna starve to death,
What
Misty.
I love
Ashley,
about
you're not
the
gonna have a heart attack.
realization at dinner, because I did relive my whole soul journey again, but as time goes by, it really has faded. The memories have really faded a lot, and so that makes me sad. But like having that realization tonight at dinner it brings me comfort, because I know now that I've had that realization, a past life connection in my current behavior, that it's not going to affect me as strongly as it did, if at all. And so that's progress. That's progress for me. And
Yep,
that gives me something to look forward to. Maybe I'll be able to stop overeating, because I do it because like I told you, I'd rather feel
yep.
really, really full than
Full,
really,
then
really
hungry. Yep,
hungry. Um, and I think it's all very much connected together.
yep, and
Hi,
that
Morgan.
makes sense.
Yeah, and
Hello,
it
Morgan.
really helps. It's like when you shine the light of awareness on something like that, it stops. They say that's like, let's say you have recurring dreams, or that you were killed or injured in the past life, and you don't know, it, but you have a weird pain. Like Travis, for example, he would have a weird pain in his collarbone, and it was just random, and he
Yep,
didn't know why. And then he had that dream, where he was reliving his past life, where he was like a pilot in a World War II plane, and he got shot in that
yep.
exact spot. And then after he had that dream, it stopped hurting. So I just think it's interesting, because, what, like I said, once you shine awareness on a shadow of the
Yep.
past, it stops affecting your current or your
Yes,
future.
because it has an explanation. And sometimes
Mhm.
our mind just like needs that explanation.
Right.
Like it because then it makes sense to us. Then you're not filling all these blanks with assumption and worry and fear because you're like, that makes sense to me. Now when that happens, you just put it aside. Like you're like, oh, that's what that is.
Yep.
Like
Exactly. And
it's relieving.
I'm not sure about you, but I'm feeling very in tune today. So I feel like for people who do want to get past life readings with us, it's really going to help them
I have felt
expand.
like that the last couple days. Very
Mm,
connected and like my readings last night were like they felt very fluid. Like it
fluid.
was
Mhm.
yes.
Like, like the Cancery full moon.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. So, if y'all are interested in getting a past life reading tonight, it's $25, and Ash and I will both contribute to that. Or if you're interested in finding out what the rest of January has in store for you, we will whip out the tarot cards and see what the universe wants you to know. Okay, there's 4 different ways to make that donation in the description box of the video. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jane.
Hello, Jane.
Jane.
Hello, Jane. Hello, Chris.
Jane, darling, I haven't seen you in so long. How
Sh-
are you?
Jane, my
Jane,
darling.
it's been a hot minute. You know what I put on today that I have not? My sapphire. I
Ooh,
have not. Yeah, I wore this all day today, and I like it. I buy stuff all the
I, I know you do, friend. And then you forget you have it.
time.
I
Mhm.
didn't wear any of my rings at all today, which or my
This
bracelets.
this wasn't too terrible. I had been looking for a sapphire for a while, and it wasn't terrible. It was only $50. It wasn't terrible.
No.
But it's a good quality stone, because I got it from Kat Norton, who has Gaia's Gifts group on Facebook and page. She's really great. She handpicks all of her crystals that she's going to sell, because she is an actual crystal seller, and she picks She picks them and they all have such amazing, great energy. Whenever because she does live streams on Facebook, whenever she does them in her group, man, pretty much all this stuff she has, most of it sells right away because it's
Mhm.
just, such great energy and everything. If you're just joining us, please share out if you're kind. I know you're kind.
And we appreciate your kindness.
I would like to, while we're waiting for people to decide whether or not they want to have a past life reading with us or a January taroscope reading, I want to talk about the importance of knowing your energy and knowing what a high vibrational energy is like for spirit and stuff like that, because I love it too, Chris. I've never had one, and I've wanted one for a while. He said I love sapphire.
Mhm.
It's important to be aware that there are um some people who are doing psychic work online. Remember the thing last night. There are
Yes.
some people doing psychic work online who are not, um, everybody can be taken advantage of, is what I want to say. And I'm not talking about the people watching. Well, technically it is, but
Them is like
them as
through the
well.
process. Yes, through the
But
process.
people, psychics and people who open them up to channeling, and spirit work and stuff like that can become prey or puppets for dark energy. And sometimes people don't know that's what they're channeling. They sometimes they think they're channeling good things,
They
because
really do think that.
they really do think that. And it's I stumbled across this last night. Somebody that I had seen very briefly online, and had a private conversation with them, and I immediately knew that they were not channeling good energy. They were not connected to good energy, and it was because of the way they were describing what they were feeling. So I just want everybody to know some of them are not the real deal. True, yes, that's true, Jane, but some people, they have good intentions. They're just not aware that bad
Of where the
energy,
information's
they can
coming from.
they can channel negative energy or lower vibrational energy too. And it just depends what vibe you're in, what stuff you're going to channel. I personally set boundaries a long time ago that I would have absolutely nothing to do with lower vibrational energy, that it's not allowed in my personal space, that I'm only channeling for the highest good of everyone. And so there is no negligence as far as me using my gift and connecting to spirit. I know these and feel them and leave them. Yeah, I felt, and I even asked the person if I could give them a gift. And because I really truly wanted to help them see what was going on with them. And they said that their whatever was controlling them said no, that I wasn't allowed to give them the gift of clarity. I really wanted them to see
Well,
clear.
he didn't say, what did he say? This person said, like, my lord or something like
Absolutely
that.
not, and call them.
My won't allow it, or won't accept it. And it's like, that's okay. Like,
Right. So I just, yeah, you have to have big boundaries. Exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, and then they tried to insinuate that energy lives in my mind, and I was like, absolutely not. That is not welcome here. I rebuke Satan and the devil and all of that negative energy, and it is not allowed in my personal space ever. It's just not. So just be aware, guys, that sometimes people don't know what they're connecting to. I am connecting to source because I feel it in my crown. This person felt like they had a black hole in their chest, and that it was just, and they felt really a lot of pain, and they were connecting to the lower vibrations of the emotional scale. And you don't feel that way when you're channeling light. You don't feel that. Okay, so just be aware that people can become enslaved to wanting to help others, and they can be blinded to that with their ego and thinking, everything that connects to me is light and love, and that's sadly
No,
not the case,
no,
you know.
it's not.
So
I've had
so
negative
just
energy try to, but the longer you do it, the more you are aware when that's happening.
right.
And you're like,
And
"Mm,
you can feel the different vibrations, you can feel the different frequencies of the energy that tries to connect to you. Like I told Ash, there was, as soon as I walked in my bedroom, I felt something off, and so I used my tuning forks to clear the energy. So there's nothing here, and everything is beautiful again, and everything is great.
you're
So
just
maybe that's what made my dogs tear up the trash.
your damn dogs."
Those assholes. 2 for 1 tonight. Yes, Ronald. 2 for 1. We're
Hello,
doing
Ronalds.
you get your choice of a past life reading or a January taroscope, which you've had one of those already, but you, by all means, if you want to have another one,
You just
there
go
is
right
no
ahead.
there is no limit on the amount of information that can be useful.
True.
Sometimes Ash and I, when we're together, we start talking like we're from the
Yeah,
South, and that's a
we
little
have
inside
we
joke.
have done that since the minute we met each other.
It's just a little inside joke. It's nothing personal against any of y'all. But
I feel like we were Southern little ladies in a past life,
I
and
do
we
declare,
and
mint
we just
green
sat on the
dress and
couch
all,
and we just sat on the porch and talked about the neighbors.
drinking some sun tea and
Yep,
I'll tell you, mint juleps. But anyways, you got the South down. I do declare, Chris, it is.
I do
I
declare.
had
I was a Georgia peach in my past life.
absolutely
I would say I was definitely a Georgia peach.
gotta love peaches. But
And cottage
anyway,
cheese, we talked about that tonight.
we talked about peaches. What is up with us?
What the hell?
Sheila, evening to you, my darling. Goodness, goodness me. Oh, heavens to
Oh,
Bitsy.
Lord have mercy.
I love peaches too. That's wonderful. Okay, so we have Cheryl wants to get a past life reading.
Okay,
I
Cheryl.
got you, Cheryl. You're still a peach, Ash. Okay, so I'm
This
gonna
j-
write
I, just a little bit of peach over here.
Cheryl Phillips. Okay.
Interesting. What head is that? We're just channeling some information if you guys are wondering what we're doing.
Sorry. I just got shoved right into a story here.
What time frame are you in?
I'm like in the gold rush, California gold rush.
Is it like cowboy hats and things like that?
Mhm.
Same. I just wanted to make sure we were in the same life. We
Yep,
are.
we
Okay.
are. Yep. Are you the man or the wife?
Wife
Okay.
or a woman.
Okay. Because I have a name and everything here for her. Hi, Jill. That's right, Jane. Jane said, I know when you feel in a low vibration that you won't read for people. You're absolutely right. I will
Same.
not bring low vibes to y'all. I will not allow you to connect to me when I'm in low vibes, because when you connect to people who are connected to low vibrational energy, you're opening yourself up. You're opening an energetic connection, an energetic pathway between you and them. And I just won't do it. If I feel even just tired, I
Me
won't
too.
for y'all.
I
Okay.
don't like it. And I just
Yeah.
and I don't even have the energy. It wouldn't even be a good reading also.
Yeah.
Like in my like how I feel, I'm like, this isn't even gonna be a
And you
good
would get
reading.
tired after, like,
Yes.
one or two, you would just be spent. So you're right, Jane. I don't read for people when I'm not feeling the greatest. So okay, so we're both in the same. I gotta look up what time. I feel like it's 18:49, but I just want to check.
All I know is the first like it would
When was the
it's
California Gold Rush?
it's like
1848. God damn, I'm good.
yeah, damn, friend.
God dang, I'm good. Hi, Amanda.
When James Marshall made his customary inspection of the sawmill he was building for John Sutter.
We're getting all kinds of information.
Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, I heard 1849, so this is right after the California Gold Rush started in January. This to me, I don't know what season it is, honestly, but there's not, I mean, it's California, so there's not snow, obviously. Um, put some twang on it. Hi Amanda, hi friend. But it's so I was immediately pulled onto a train, and I was taking a train. And then I saw the Rocky Mountains out. I looked out the window. I saw the Rocky Mountains out the window, and then I heard California Gold Rush, and then what does that say? Can't read it. Sorry. And then the wife. That's why I was asking if you were the husband or the wife, because I saw a man walking down a street to a mercantile, which is like where you would get everything. Really, it's what people would consider a Walmart now. So the mercantile is where you would get your supplies, and where you would get material, where you would get everything you need. Um, and and Sally was the name that I got for the wife that works at the mercantile. So he's a gold miner. He's panning. Panning is what I wrote. You can't
Oh,
tell.
joking.
That's what that says.
It looks like I mean, now that you say that it's panning, it looks like panning to me.
Right, but
But
didn't it a second ago. But yeah, panning for gold. So the husband and wife, they moved out to California to try to make their fortune, and he panned for gold, and she worked at the mercantile. What did you get?
so the first thing that I got was definitely a woman, but she was more not as feminine. Um, I don't want to say super masculine either. She just wasn't like super ladylike. Okay, I'll just say that.
Well,
She was
seen older pictures of women, right?
yes, it's like it's a little rough
A
looking.
little rough around the edges.
Okay, she didn't have which this I mean this could be you, Cheryl, in your past life. But she was missing her front teeth or one of her front teeth. So how this could resonate now is I don't know if
She has
the right
tooth problems.
yeah, if you've got gum or tooth problems on that side, but that could resonate for you in this life. But anyway, what they told me was that you tended to be trigger finger happy, is what I got. So, what I'm feeling is that you didn't take any shit from anybody. I think a lot of people probably came in to try to, because you're a woman back in this day.
Girl said I chipped a front tooth.
Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, in this lifetime, there was a tooth, a couple of them in the front that were missing. Um, but I think people would come into this shop and see you as a woman and automatically assume they could either steal stuff or take things from the register or do something like that. And what I'm seeing is you pulling out a shotgun. I don't know if you are, if you practice shooting, have ever been to a gun range, but in this lifetime, you had extremely good aim. is what they were showing me. They told me that you didn't miss. And I don't know if like this was something that your husband helped you with in this lifetime or something like that, but I do feel like it is something that you enjoyed. But also it made you feel safe. Okay. And then the other thing that they showed me was there was lots of whiskey consumption. So I feel like you and your husband like to enjoy having whiskey. Um, just whiskey neat, like in a it warm even. Like it there was lots of whiskey drinking back in this day. So I don't know if you enjoy whiskey still, or maybe it could be the opposite where you're actually absolutely disgusted by whiskey. But also I got sharp pain in on the inside of my left hip and also through the kidney. So what I'm feeling like in this lifetime is that at some point you were shot. Um, I don't think that this killed you instantly, but it did cause you to use a cane or walk with a limp. So at some point through your husband in your travels that you went through, there came a point where you weren't able to travel anymore. Um, because of this issue. Because I mean, sitting for long distances and long periods of time in like a buggy pulled by horses and things like that just wasn't good for you. Um, but I'm not really seeing where you ended up. Do you see that, friend? Like where did the
Um, what? What was your question?
what? Um, so what I had
What?
saw was that, well, first of all, I don't know if you heard me say that she was shot.
Oh,
And then, yes, it was like in the left, on the inside of the left hip and through the kidney. And
I walk with a
that,
cane now, she said.
okay, because what ended up this didn't kill her, but it obviously they couldn't get the bullet out or something. So eventually she had to use a cane, and eventually this prevented her and her husband from moving anywhere else. And I was just saying that I'm not seeing where they ended up, like where their final resting place was or where they finally stopped
It's somewhere in
trying to pan
California. I just know that
for
they
gold.
that they
It's
went
just,
west.
and maybe it's
They went
irrelevant, and
west
that's why
to
it's,
California for gold panning, and I don't know if they ended up staying there or not. I think they might have maybe ended up somewhere near
yeah,
Oregon,
it just,
here in Oregon. So I'm not sure. But Cheryl, do you have
okay.
a
I just
fondness
feel
for
like they
gold?
traveled, yeah, like gold jewelry, Black Hills Gold, or
Well, there's other gold in the country instead of just Black Hills. What is Cheryl from?
I know, but I was just thinking of when I saw jewelry, that's what I saw was like rings.
Montana was big gold back then. True, but I wasn't feeling Montana. She does like gold, okay. Because I don't have to have gold. I actually wear silver instead. So some
So
people just have a preference.
I don't wear a lot of gold either. I do light gold, but I just don't feel like it looks good with my skin tone. And I know that's bougie, but
But
silver is
she
more my thing.
but the last name that I got for Sally was Jessup. Jessup. There were Jessups back in the day, from what I can see on ancestry.com. There was a Sarah Sally Jessup, born in 1818 and died in 1896. She was from North Carolina, and she had several children. I don't know if she traveled with her husband to California, but like I said, I don't feel like they stayed there.
No, I don't think they did either. That's what I was getting. I was like, what I got was that they traveled until she physically couldn't anymore. And then that was where they ended up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's the right one or if it's a different one. I just know that I have never been given a last name, so I wrote it down.
Yeah.
So hey, look at us being awesome.
Look at us just be freaking.
Look at us being cool. But anyways, that's what I got for you. And this does this does account for some of your physical limitations, some things that have happened to you in this lifetime, personal preferences, tastes, stuff like that. If you were married young, it could be because of that energy. You were very young when you got married. I feel like you were probably 14 or 15. I feel like at the time, even then, 14 or 15 was a little young to get married, but I feel like you were in love. And so your parents allowed it. I don't
They're
think
like, I'll allow it.
I don't think there was a lot of money in your family. I don't think there was, and that's why I felt like they were perfectly fine to have one of the kids off of their hands. It's really what I'm feeling. It doesn't feel like your parents were putting up much of a fuss because that's one less mouth they had to feed. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I get it.
Back in the day, yeah, I get it.
Things were a lot different back then.
Please and thank you. What did you want a reading, Ronald? Let's see what happens. Please and thank you. What? Wow, nice, right? Well, you know.
But the thing is, though, is you because you were in love.
In love.
So I don't think you were too offended by it. You were like, bye.
Boy, bye, Mom, bye, Dad. I'm gonna go live my life. And they're like, later.
I have Dragon, you can't type on the computer. You're just a kitty.
Okay.
You're just a baby.
Morgan wants to get a past life reading, and so does Ronald. Okay, Morgan's first, and then Ronald. Morgan. I got you, Morgan. Hey, I had kids and loved. Yes, you did.
Dragon, get off the computer. You're typing things to people.
Dragon.
You can't type. You're not a business dragon.
You're not a business dragon.
You're just a baby dragon. She's like, I want to make money too. I saw on TikTok that they make these teeny tiny little laptops for kittens, and cats will like make biscuits on them. And I'm like, I need to get the dragon her own keyboard. Oh, she's gonna just lay by me because she's very nice. Okay, Morgan.
Grams.
And then Ronald is after Morgan. Oh man. What is that happening to me? Okay.
And being pulled over to the other side of the world.
Okay. This is definitely a more fancy life that I am being connected to. And just so you guys know, we might not pick up on the same past life, which essentially you're going to get little snippets from two separate lives. That last one, I just felt like we were on the same page. So
yeah, exactly.
Aw. Cute.
Oh, I gotta be able to read it.
Oh my gosh. This is so sweet, but also a little bit sad, Morgan. This part's probably not fun for you guys to watch. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm ready. Do you want me to go first so you can keep going? Okay. All right, Morgan. So the first thing that came through for me in this lifetime was in this specific lifetime, you didn't come from a family with a lot of money. But a man, a gentleman that was much older than you paid a very large dowry for you. Obviously, this was going to be very swiftly and easily accepted by your family, much like the last reading where we did, where it was like one less mouth to feed type of a situation. But I genuinely feel like your mother cared about where you were going. It was like the dowry was great, but she genuinely wanted you to go somewhere where you wouldn't be in danger, where you would be loved and cared for. And this person, this man, um, I don't want to say he was like the nicest man in the world, but he wasn't abusive. He was just very harsh and kind of cold, but not abusive by any means. And he just wanted someone to just like take care of his home and have somebody there. Okay. Um, they also showed me that from the moment that you arrived in this house and you were young, you were probably 14, 15 years old, maybe even 16. Um, but all you wanted in this lifetime, Morgan, was to be a mom. And you spent your whole life taking care of your younger siblings. You dreamed about the nursery that you would have your kids in. You planned, you had baby names picked out. Like you were one of those little girls where you weren't really concerned about the husband and the love of a lifetime situation. You just wanted to be a mom. And what they showed me was that you would spend all of your time sewing bonnets and baby clothes, or crocheting, knitting, things like that, making baby clothes. And you would that's just what you did throughout the day. I feel like your husband wasn't home very often. There wasn't a lot of people for you to talk to. But you would knit and sew and crochet baby stuff. And so you had hats and mittens and booties and all of those things for babies. And the unfortunate thing is, this is why I was saying it's very sweet, but it's very sad as well, that you had many, many miscarriages in this lifetime. Um, some of them were very close to full term. You had a few stillborn babies. And when every time when this happened, it took like a piece of you. And so you were starting to give up hope and lose faith, and you never stopped knitting these baby clothes. um but you did have a child, despite all of the miscarriages and the stillborn and this sadness that surrounded you. Were worried that you were never going to get this opportunity to be a mom. Despite all of that, you did have one child in this lifetime, um and he was the love of your life. And it was like every day you would tell this little boy how he was worth waiting for, and how much you loved him. He was had curly hair and very big eyes. And his name was Charles, is what they told me, but you called him Charlie Boy. But he was like your pride and joy, and you were a little bit of a helicopter mom, because I'm seeing you like follow him around, and anytime he would get too close to, you were just hovering, making sure he didn't touch something hot, making sure he didn't fall downstairs. So there was a lot of things that this child didn't get to grow up and experience because you loved him so much that you were trying to protect him from all of this. You just couldn't handle the thought of what your life would be like if something happened to this little boy. And what I also heard was that you would hum when you would knit, when you would hum, when you would sew, you would hum when you would clean, walk around the house, and things like that. So in this current life, I don't know if you've dealt with miscarriages in your life, in this life, or in this life, you might have been privileged to have lots of children very easily. Those are some ways that this can affect you. I don't know if the name Charlie resonates for you in this lifetime, but that was the name of this little boy. And you could hum or sing quietly, like while you cook, while you um, take showers, whatever it is, you might still do that in this lifetime. Yeah, or maybe you notice that you loved babysitting. There's a lot about your soul that really feels um, comforted in the energy of children. And that's what I have for you, Miss Morgan.
Hi, Chandra. That makes sense to you, Morgan? I hope she's typing. Where was yours? Where did yours? I wasn't listening. I was somewhere else.
It wasn't really a specific place, but it was very wealthy people. Like it was a luxurious lifetime.
Oh, that's nice.
But there was a lot of miscarriages and stillborn babies in this lifetime that was very devastating for her. But she did have a child, a little boy, and
Yeah. Well, they weren't exactly the best at taking care of themselves back then, you know.
no, and she was very young when she started to try to have babies, like 15, 16 years old. So
That was normal marriage age back
yes,
in the
yep. But she was
Mhm.
very well taken care of.
Yeah. Hi, Deborah. We're doing hiccups again. What the actual? It's like the fourth time in 2 days. Morgan, did you die in this life? Are you still here? Thank you. I have 4 kids now. She loves babies.
Oh, for
Okay.
babies.
Oh, Morgan has very dark hair. Oh, that makes this all the more interesting. Okay, Morgan, I was brought over to Europe for this lifetime for you. I was specifically given the year 1902. I was pulled to the area of Norway, Switzerland, Finland. I'm pretty sure it's Finland that I ended up in because I'm looking at pictures online of what it looks like, and this is very much similar to what I was seeing when I was looking out from my little cabin with like a peat moss type of, I don't even know what the roof was made out of. It was weird looking, but so it looked similar to this. There was some hills, and you lived along like a river or a waterway. And the name that I got for you was Inka, Inka, which is a variation of Inga. And that is from Finland, the way that I spelled it, originated in Finland. So I'm going to go with Finland for that. I originally saw you gathering eggs from chickens that you have in a small yard. And you're wearing a long wool skirt. And you're collecting eggs and putting them in a basket. And then I turn and I look out and I see the landscape. It's honestly beautiful. But this is, you live by yourself. You don't, it's just a small little cabin. You've got some chickens. You completely enjoy your solitude. You are just a hermit almost. And you're pretty self-sustaining. You know, you raise chickens, and I think you sell eggs. I was seeing a little wooden boat. I think that you carved this wooden boat. You have blonde curly hair and blue eyes, and if you look up the meaning of Inca, it means beautiful or light. So this would explain why they named you that, because you had very light blonde hair and light, pretty blue eyes. I was seeing, they were showing me windmills and things of that nature. So that's why it made me really think of like the Dutch, because, the wooden shoes and all that. Like I was seeing all these different references to that, that area. So I was brought to a scene where you're looking out and there's like these dark clouds rolling in. It's summertime. It's a summer storm, but it gets very cold and damp, which is weird because it's like a freak storm where the temperature drops dramatically. And you caught a chill. I literally caught a chill when I was sitting here, because you're in your house and you're preserving, your firewood and things of that nature. It's summertime. It's going to pass. But the temperature dropped dramatically and you caught a chill. and you got sick. And so you had a very rattling cough. And it was not anything that got better. It never got better. It's something that lingered. And I'm seeing like anytime you would light a fire in your house, for cooking or anything like that, it irritated it. But you lived by yourself. And I honestly feel like this was your choice. I don't know why. I don't know if this was like an exile situation, if you were shunned from a town or your family, or if this is just, I hate people and I want to live alone type of thing. But you didn't recover. You remained weak and you kept this cough until the winter time, and then you passed. You passed in your home in the comfort of your bed. You were very weak. You weren't able to, you just weren't able to get up anymore. And you were found quite some time later. Um, and I think it's passerbys, people that had been just out exploring, and they stumbled upon your little cabin. So honestly, this to me, I don't know if you have issues with bronchitis in this lifetime, or if you're a smoker and you have a cough from that. If it's just something that you don't like the cold, wet weather, if you're not fond of rain, like I'm personally not very fond of rain. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Um, I don't know how you feel about farm animals or chickens in particular. If you love chicken or if you hate chicken, whatever it is. But this was the timeline that I got for you. I think it's very interesting that you spent your life alone, but honestly, just completely surrounded by peace and serenity and beauty. And
That
I
sounds
don't
beautiful to
feel,
me.
huh?
That sounds
It doesn't
beautiful to me.
it doesn't feel like you're being punished in this life. It feels like this is your choice. Okay. Um, I don't really know how old you were when I saw you. Um, I don't really know, but I do know that you didn't have a husband or kids or anything like that. It was just you. So, and I don't know a lot of the history of Finland or that area. I don't know if that was normal for people. Um, I don't really know. I don't know anything about it. All I know is what I was shown. So, I hope that's interesting for you, and I hope it rings some bells for you and helps you understand some things about yourself. I hope I got enough detail in that. I have asthma, lol, something I like to just be left alone, other than my 4 kids. Well, you
Yep.
definitely were extremely fond of peace and quiet and solitude in this lifetime. So, yeah, it's interesting about the asthma, though, because you did have a very rattling cough that you never recovered from.
And it feels like it eventually is what killed you.
Yes, it was complications from that summer cold that you got, that just never went away. You caught a chill in your body, you got a fever, you got a bad cough, it set up in your chest like pneumonia, and then you
And it
ended up
like
just having
damaged
like
your lungs.
walking pneumonia. Yeah. Of course, back in the day, they don't know they have pneumonia. You know what I
Nope.
mean? So it's really interesting. So
I already
I think
have
it's crazy.
Ronald's ready.
Oh, well, shit, girl, give me a fucking minute.
Well, that's what I did while you were doing that. So I
Right.
figured that's what I figured that would be
I
efficient.
got I got you on the list, Chloe.
Who?
Chloe Burt.
Okay, is that after Ronald?
Yep.
Okay. I'll have to be done at 9, friends, so I can go let the dogs out.
Okay. Well,
So that gives us a little over an hour.
all righty.
Okay, I will start. Is Ronald here? Do you
Of
see
course
him?
it is. Of course
Okay,
it is.
I will start Ronald while you channel.
Okay.
Okay, Ronald. Misty does the clicking, so I won't be able to see your comments while I'm doing this. but just bear with me. Okay. So the lifetime of yours that I connected to, you were the first thing that came through is it's in China. Okay. Um, they also showed me that you were a very, very tall man in comparison to the other people in like your village or in your area. I wouldn't say, I don't think like 6'4" tall. I feel like you were like 6 foot tall, which was just a lot taller than the other people, and that was significant. Like they could see you coming. Um, they might have even made a nickname for you in Chinese about being tall. Okay. They're showing me that you delivered parcels for people, and in return, they would feed you and clothe you and stuff. It was like trading or bartering. Like you didn't ever really have an official job. It was more like you offered a service to people and then they returned the favor. So I'm seeing that it was like a small bike, small for you, and you never wore any shoes. So you had very like calloused and strong feet. So in your current life now, it might be a thing for you where you don't really like to wear shoes. Um, because for some reason there's some level of comfort with that. It is very grounding to walk around outside without shoes on. Um, so they showed me that, and they also showed me that you spent a lot of time feeding stray cats and dogs. I'm seeing that if you, anytime that you ever had a bit of food, you would be breaking pieces off to hand down to a stray dog or a stray cat, and you didn't really say much to people. Um, they also showed me that you used your hands for everything. And the way that I saw this was when you would walk down the street, people really liked you. They would approach you, even if you didn't have a lot to say. But what I'm seeing is that you always would touch their face. You would touch people's faces, or you would touch their arm, or you would touch their hand, that you used your hands. And what they were telling me is that you were like a sage or a healer. And I don't think this is something that you were taught or that you ever fully realized in this lifetime, but like your energy was very healing, especially when children would come up to you and they would, laugh or make a joke, that you would just reach down and rub their face like this. And it was like a endearment, like you loved them. And so they were also showing me that you would make like healing tinctures and salves with like things that you would find or forage for. And that people in the town started to talk about this talent that you had when people had emotional ailments or minor health problems and things like that, that they would come get you and you would put your hands on the person and they would start feeling better. And so this is something that you started to be known for. You were also very helpful. If you walked by a neighbor's house and you saw that their front gate was broken, you would just fix it. Um, or if you saw, you know, somebody struggling with something, you were very helpful, very quiet, but very helpful. And they told me that the people in the village, they made sure that you were always fed. They made sure that you always had clothes. Um, and they always felt like this was a way to repay you for all the things that you did for them. So people would show up to your home with little meals and some clothes, and they would always give you extra stuff so that you could feed the stray animals and just things like that. People took care of you. And then the last thing that they told me was that in this particular lifetime, you lived a very long life. Like the specific number was 106 years old. That you outlived a lot of people and that you stayed very fairly healthy in the entirety of this life. They're not showing me that you ever had children. They're not showing me that you ever got married. And I don't feel like this was something that you missed out on or felt like you lacked, because you did have so much love for the children and the neighborhood that you lived in and the people that you were around constantly. You just never felt lonely. Does that make sense, Ronald? Because that's what I have for you.
I do, yes. Use my hands for good, and I do. Massagers and shoes aren't my friend. Hi, Jim. Shoes can be mean. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So I got you in the Kentucky area. I'm not sure of a time here, but it's the time of Daniel Boone, whenever that was. They were telling me it was a Daniel Boone era, that general time period. Um, and I believe you were, exploring your I want to say maybe 30. But you're I don't know what kind of frontiersman you are, but you're out exploring in the woods, and I can hear a bird, caw, but it's not a bird, it's Indians, and they're like signaling each other. And it is the Shawnee tribe. um but you hear this bird and you turn to look, and when you turn back in front of you, like an Indian dude like walks out from behind a tree, and he just stands there and he looks at you, and while your attention is on him, you get shot with an arrow. Like, I felt it immediately as soon as I connected to him. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Because I just got shot. Right in the rib, the bottom part of the lung.
That must have been what I was feeling, because remember when I was like, "What is that?" And it was right here. That must
Yeah,
have been what it was, because it wasn't
just
Ronald.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, and then they shot you in the lung, and then they did this number. And then they ransacked you. They took your things, your knife, your hunting knife. They took your horse. They took your supplies, and they just left you there. But they took your horse for sure. Um, I'm not sure how you feel about horses in this life, Ronald. If you really um, have always wanted to have one, it could be because yours was stolen. The big knife stuck out in my mind. I'm not sure if you are a hunter, or if you have a big hunting knife, or if you've always wanted a big, mean looking hunting knife. But I did get an overwhelming feeling of not trusting people, um, always looking behind your back and always looking over your shoulder. It feels safer that way, you know, um, because you were caught by surprise. You were distracted. You were distracted, and you paid the price for that. Like I said, you were like in your 30s, and it feels like it's Kentucky, but I'm not sure of the exact year. That's twice I got killed by an Indian in the woods. Oh, dang.
Hmm.
This seems to be a pattern. They did take your things, though. I will say they didn't really know what to do with the flint. Um, so I wonder if that's left any kind of lingering feelings about Indians in general that you've carried over from other lifetimes. I feel like some people don't really care for natives, and it might be because of something that happened negatively at the hands of. I mean, I don't really know everybody's story, but I do know that this is very interesting. You had a coonskin cap, so that's really cool. I don't know if you were hunting or what you were doing out there by yourself, but you were like, it looked like you were exploring, but you could have been hunting because you did have a hunting knife. It was a mean looking knife. You're part Indian. Oh, well, that would definitely. Is it the Shawnee tribe? Just wondering. Blackfoot. Oh. that's good to know. So I hope that reading resonates with you. I think it's very interesting that you've died by Indians in two separate lifetimes. I mean, normally, sure, you could have the same lesson with different circumstances, and that's probably what happened there, and I think it's interesting. Okay.
Now we have Chloe.
Chloe Burt. I hope you enjoyed your reading, Ronald. Chloe Burt.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay. So, Chloe, are you here? Chloe, I have a lifetime for you. Calling Chloe. Oops. I don't know if my comments are lagging.
You're welcome. She says she's here.
Oh, okay. I was going to say my comments are lagging because I don't see her at all. Okay. Chloe, so the first thing they showed me was you in this lifetime as a little girl. I want to say probably 8. You had very, very rosy, full cheeks. But you weren't chubby. You just had very full, rosy cheeks, a round face. So that's what they were showing me. They were showing me you at a circus and wanting to ride the carousel over and over and over and over again. I don't know if that was just the most fun ride or it was the only one you were tall enough to get on, but you rode it on repeat. They were also showing me that this specific moment you ate cotton candy and you threw up, and then that was when you had migraines because of this. That was when your parents realized that you had a sugar intolerance, is what they called it. So you might have been diabetic or something like that, but they called it a sugar intolerance. So after that, anytime that you would consume products that had too much sugar in them, it would give you migraines and cause you to feel very sick. This was very irritating for you because you also had a sweet tooth. And so they're showing me that sometimes you would sneak like hard candies. And then you would have to pretend like you did not have a headache after that, or your mom would know that you snuck candy. So that was significant. So I don't know if you've got a sugar intolerance in this life, Chloe, or if processed sugars and things like that make you feel sick. But that could be present in this life. They are also showing me that everywhere you guys went, your mom would make you hold your little brother's hand, and you had to hold his hand everywhere. And this was very annoying. You were very annoyed with this, that you were put in charge of constantly having to hold his hand. Like your mom was worried that while she was shopping that she would lose track of him. And so it was like your responsibility to stay with him, right? While she was shopping. But what they showed me that was very sweet. I understand why this was probably annoying for you in this lifetime, but it was very sweet. But what they're showing me is that you would like be scowling or huffing or like kind of upset that you had to hold this little boy's hand and his hands were always sticky and whatever, but he would just look up at you with so much admiration. He just admired you so much and loved you so much, and he just would what they were showing me is that you would be looking straight forward and he would be just watching you. And it's very sweet. Okay, so then we skip forward in this lifetime, and I'm seeing that at around 15 or 16 years old in this specific lifetime, you started to realize that you were attracted to other girls. And they showed me that this was something that you weren't obviously comfortable with telling people. Um, you kept this a secret, but you did meet somebody. They're showing me that you did go to college. Um, that you did go to college and you met someone at college. And her name is Cassie or Cassandra. But you spent the rest of your lifetime with this woman. She was like your soulmate, a kindred spirit. And then what they're telling me is that this woman is obviously in your soul family, but she is with you in this lifetime as well. And I'm feeling like she is either a sister in this lifetime or an aunt. It's somebody that's related to you by blood in this lifetime, but you had a very kindred connection with this woman. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that that was the reason why in this lifetime you were attracted to women, was because you were supposed to have this loving and fulfilling relationship with her. I don't think it was other women. It was like that whole thing was set up for you to have this loving connection with this specific woman. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your sexual orientation is in this life. Maybe you identify as bisexual or something like that, but this could be why. Um, but it was significant. And I don't know if the name Cassie or Cassandra resonates for you either, but they told me that this was her name. And that is what I have for you, Chloe.
Sorry, I stopped as soon as I started because it was too much for me. It was a rough one.
Was it?
Yep. My mom wouldn't allow us to have any hard candies because of the fear of choking. Even now, she yells at it as if we have it.
That's a little bit funny. Does sugar make you
And
sick?
she said probably my aunt.
Okay. It's just somebody that you probably have like a connection that you might not be able to explain. Like you just feel closer. It doesn't have to mean that you guys are like connected at the hip, but it's just a vibe or a feeling. Somebody that you might feel very comfortable with.
I can't say the name because it's hard. It's foreign. Okay. She said no, she's fine with sugar.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
because that very much annoyed you in this lifetime because you had such a sweet tooth, and it's like watching everyone else get to eat cakes and things like that, and you just weren't allowed to do it. But you did sneak them.
So, fun times. Chloe, chocolate is life. I agree with you on that.
I love chocolate. It's funny you say that. I've been thinking about chocolate for the last few minutes. I'm like, I have some Lindor chocolates.
So I was brought to the late 60s, and so that's what happened. I was brought to 1969, and I immediately heard Charles Manson. And so I was like, whoa, I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even alive.
Oh, I know a lot about Charles Manson.
I was very dizzy in my head, and then I started feeling pain all over my body. So I looked up the names of the victims from the Tate murders, and I really can't pronounce it. Wolchik Frykowski. It gives a little description here of what happened to that person. Frykowski asked him who he was and what he was doing there. Watson replied, I'm the devil. I'm here to do the devil's business. He tried to get away. Okay. He tried to get away. He was struck over the head with a gun several times, stabbed repeatedly, and shot twice. But you tried to get away.
So you're saying that Chloe was this man?
That died, yeah.
Okay.
Not Charles Manson.
No. Charles
victim.
Manson actually didn't murder anyone.
Right. He just told everyone what to do.
Freaking
She's very
Scorpio.
into serial killers.
Okay. Charles Manson was a Scorpio, by the way.
Of course. They're all interesting.
They're manipulative.
Wasn't gonna. But I think it's interesting that you're very much into serial killers and you were killed by a serial killer. So that's interesting. Maybe you've always just, maybe the reason that you're into them and you're curious about them is because you really want to know what makes them tick and why that happened to you. But I don't even know what kind of name Frykowski is. What is that, Polish? And I have Manson t-shirts. Lovely. She's like, I'm a big fan of the guy that had me killed.
Oh gosh.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well,
Or
this
maybe
is why.
maybe I was like, you're just like interested in why.
Yeah.
I get that.
How weird is that that's what I clued into? And she's like, oh, I'm obsessed with him. And I'm like, well, there's a reason. He had you killed.
Yep.
You know, that's that kind of obsession you would get with your arch enemy. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of, you know, I want to know everything about them, what makes them tick, so I can.
And maybe it's like a way for you to not make that same mistake again. Like if you start to notice people being weird or stalking your house or, you know, whatever, you're going to like prevent that from happening again. So, I mean, that would make sense why that would be like hyper vigilant.
You're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the biggest, you know. Yeah, well, they romanticized him recently on Netflix. I, of course, did not partake because I did not.
I watched a little bit of it and I couldn't finish it. I was like, I can't.
That's what
I can't
romanticize, you know, eating people. That I just not into it.
Evil.
Very much so.
Yep.
But
I mean,
that's interesting that it comes in. Frykowski. You were Frykowski, so maybe you can look into that person's name and like try to find some information on them. Frykowski. Frykowski.
Yep.
But yeah, that's super interesting that she's real big into that stuff.
I find stuff like that interesting because I do love like the psychology behind it. And I was probably murdered in a past life as well because I want to know why. Why do people do things like that? But then there's some of the serial killer stuff I just can't, like they made a documentary on John Wayne Gacy. I couldn't finish that either. Like some of them feel too evil and it makes me, I don't like that.
I just think it's interesting that music producer Quincy Jones, who is a friend of these victims, had planned to join them that evening, but he changed his mind and didn't go. What did he know? You know, Hollywood.
Well, Charles Manson just wanted to he wanted people of color and cops to fight with each other. And then people of color would all kill each other off and then their cult could just live and be the only people on earth. That's what he told them. I hate the name Frank too.
Sounds like Nazi Germany, but you know, who am I?
He called it Helter Skelter. Like, it was like this whole plan, but, like, he didn't actually murder anyone, and it felt so much less sadistic than, like, Jeffrey Dahmer to me. So, like, I found Manson way more interesting, and it didn't scare me like or make me physically ill like Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, like, it's just a different like, Charles Manson felt like human condition, whereas, like, Dahmer and Gacy felt like evil incarnate. You know, like
Yeah. Well, they did say that when somebody asked who they were, uh, the guy responded, "I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's business."
mhm.
So,
Well, I think at one point Charles Manson, like, had them thinking that he was, like, Jesus. I can't remember, but he convinced all of these people that they were essentially saving their community. That's what they were doing.
sure.
Yep. And it's like, yeah, look at all you.
That was a good $25 reading. I definitely have to look into the Frankowski guy. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, like, how much that's going to resonate with you on the whole. You know, I got you, Shelly. We got time for one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
only 8.
Yeah, we had time.
Shelly Morin.
Dragon, are you laying on my pen? Oh, no, you're not. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blame you. You're an angel. Very tired kitten. You guys can't see her face, but she is she's out like a light. Look at her little feet. She's very tired.
Yes. She's probably
She's
tired from being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I love when she's sleeping because she kept me up all night because then I want to be like, hey, hey, hey,
Yeah.
does it bother you? Are you trying to sleep? Are you trying to take a nap?
Excuse you.
How dare you sleep? Sherry.
Shelly.
Shelly. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's on the screen,
Shelly.
in case you were wondering.
You what?
It's on the screen, in case you were wondering.
Oh, yep, sure is. Oh, I thought it said I thought it said Shelly morning. Like, good morning. Aw,
Good morning, Shelly.
good morning. Oh my gosh. Sometimes spirit tells me just the weirdest things. I'm like, okay, Shelly, and it's like corn dip. And I'm like, why?
What?
Like, why corn dip? I'm telling you, that's just like, I'm gonna write it down. Shelly, does corn dip resonate for you? Do you like corn dip? Because do you
Is
have a
that a
loved one
thing?
that likes? Do you like? Yeah,
What is corn dip?
yeah, it's actually really good. I have a friend that worked with me in the Secretary of State's office that used to make it, and it's like some like chowder and cheese and spices and like a bunch of stuff, but it's like nacho dip except it has corn in it.
Huh. Interesting. I've never literally heard of that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe Shelly has a loved one that liked corn dip because I said Shelly and it was like corn dip. Oh,
Maybe.
dragon, you're so nice.
I don't know. I don't know. It's Mexican street corn dip. Don't know what it is, she said. Corn
Oh,
chowder, I love.
okay. Well, maybe you just really liked corn in this life. um, okay.
what's it called where what's it called where people work at a like a little phone, it's just when there's elections and stuff and you like volunteer.
Like a
um
kiosk?
no, it's like shit, help me out, y'all. When you volunteer for your party to call people and try to get them to go out and vote for your constituent, or for your you try to get the constituents to vote for your um person that's running for office. Like, what is that place called?
I forget what that's called.
It's like the party. It's like a party headquarters or something like this. Poll booth, campaign. Yeah,
That's
like
not
a campaign party headquarter type of thing. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. So, anyways, that's getting. I'm getting a young woman. She looks to be about 20. A college age student. She's wearing like long jean shorts, like almost knee length jean shorts. They're loose jean shorts. And this looks like it's the 80s. When was Reagan? Because I'm hearing Reagan. 81 to 89. Okay, so it is the 80s. Just by the design of the shirt, it looks like the 80s. But she's working for the I don't know if he was a Democrat or a Republican, but he no idea if he was a Republican Party. Okay, she was working with the Democrat Party during this time, uh during the election year it was 1980. She's 20 years old, college student. Her name is April. She has brown hair. When I connected to it, she was crossing a busy, like a highway, to try and get over to the office, the center where they're, calling people, and they're trying to get people registered to vote, and um they're trying to get people to vote for their um nominee. Okay, but Reagan won. It was the opposition of Reagan, whoever it was. Um yeah, because I'm seeing like all the red, white, and blue, and like all the patriotic, and she's wearing like a big blue, like lapel type pinned on thing where she's pollsters, probably. Yeah, pollsters. So this is like she's a college student, and she's volunteering. She might even be in the political sciences, because she's very gung ho about this, very much into it, very much into politics. Shelley, I don't know how you feel about politics now, or how you feel about Democrats, but man, she was a big follower of democracy and the Democratic Party, and um, a loyal voter, always vote blue. It almost feels like she's an activist. You're Canadian. Well, lucky you. You don't have to deal with it.
Reagan.
You just got stuck with Trudeau, but that's fine. But you were very, very, very active in politics from a young age, and I feel like this is something that you kind of like. You were moving towards this energy of like going into politics yourself. I don't think you lived very long. I almost kind of feel like you got hit by a car, honestly, just because this busy street is making me so anxious, like when I'm trying to cross it, because these cars are going very fast. It's how you have like some of the roads are like 2 lanes, and then the speed limit's like 55. I don't know where you live, but this is kind of like a city where I'm seeing this. And I'm hearing like it's a Democrat stronghold, so my life is very complicated. But yeah, it doesn't look like you were very old in this life. And if you were born before the time that she passed, just know that your timelines are intertwined. Okay, you don't actually have to. Your soul has the ability to be in multiple places at the same time because you are in a world where there's um, so many different reflections of yourself. Like Ash and I have had reflections of each other for quite some time. We're living very intimately entwined timelines. Things that happened to her happened to me.
or vice
Different
versa.
relationship issues that happen to you happen to me. We meet like I meet a guy with this name, and then she meets a guy with the same name, and she meets a guy with one name, and I'll meet the. It's just we're just so
And
blind.
it's always surprising and it's always funny because
Yeah,
we're
it's
like,
always like, well, that's interesting. Born in 1952. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. This other timeline that I'm seeing of yours, I understand that this is in the 80s, and this is not you now, but it feels like, have you ever heard the term of you know, calling in your soul or your soul fractals? There's different versions of you existing at the same time. There's 6 different versions of you existing at the same time. Ash and I are 2 different versions of the same soul.
we're busy.
Yeah, we got shit going on, but that's
We're just out doing stuff.
it's very synchronistic. Oh, you have no idea. Chris, my birthday is 0111 and her birthday is 1110.
It's like a mirror.
And we know that for like a year. We had no idea. We never even bothered to ask each other.
And then it was like, wait a
They're like,
minute.
oh my God, we're like the same coin.
And that's
How
why we
weird.
drive each other crazy.
Oh, weird. Yeah,
Drive each other just a
because
little.
we're next door neighbors now because I moved 1,200 miles to live next door to her so that we could, drive each other crazy more often.
Crazy. We also teach each other a lot though. So see, there's perks.
Yeah, yeah. What about the Native American I see in war dress? This is going to be a spirit guide for you, Shelley. This is not necessarily your timeline. This isn't have anything. The connection to this woman is not. It's not you. It's a spirit guide for you. One big happy family. You got it. So know when
Exactly.
you see this Native American in war dress, this is yours. I mean, she's a tough chick. So this is, there's a reason that you're seeing that particular guide. What do you think that she embodies that you could use more of in your life?
Dragon.
You know? Okay.
Stop scratching me.
Shoot,
Okay, I
friend.
have Shelly. So
Yes.
this is a different, completely like a completely different lifetime. So what the first thing that I saw was you as a little boy. Okay. Um, aside from the corn dip reference. I don't know where that came from, but it did come through. Random. Okay. But what I'm seeing is this little boy, you as this little boy, was super intrigued and interested in castles, like wanting to know everything about castles, how they were made, um, what each room was called. I'm seeing like very detailed little drawings that you would do of like powder rooms, like every single room in a castle, you knew what they were called, things like that. You wanted to build castles, you would draw them, you would paint them. They're also showing me that you were an excellent drawer, even from a very young age, that you drew these beautiful, um, elaborate drawings, very detailed of castles. So I don't know if castles are still something that you feel very intrigued by or wanting to visit one in this lifetime or something like that. But I feel like this is directly linked to another past life that we haven't tapped into yet, where you might have lived in a castle or you might have lived outside of one. And there's always been that desire to want to see what the inside of this castle looks like. So I feel like this is like kind of leading through. So anyway, I don't know if castles intrigue you. I'm also seeing that you are very mousy, as in like small, quiet,
And
tender-hearted.
72% Celtic.
Okay. Um, so and you wore suspenders? That they showed me that you wore suspenders, that you were very mousy and quiet, um, and that wherever you lived at in this lifetime, there were spiders everywhere. And when I saw this, it made me be like, ugh. But like there were spiders everywhere. Like I'm seeing spiders crawl on you while you slept. And like it was so everybody in your family was so used to it that no one was bothered by it, which is just like I'm seeing this and I'm like, gross, right? But you were not bothered by it. You actually collected spiders, and that was another thing that you were really interested in learning about was like different types of spiders. It was almost like somewhere inside your head you knew that none of them were harmful for you, and so you just like, I mean, you couldn't move, you know? So anyway, I don't know if
I hate
spiders
spiders
yes,
now.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if spiders terrify you now or make you like physically ill, but this could be because you were essentially forced to be okay with them crawling all over you and shit. So they showed me that. Then they told me that your name was T like Trevor or Tyler or something in this lifetime. I don't know if that'll resonate for you either, but this wasn't a very long lifetime. At about 12 years old, they showed me that you fell down the stairs in your house and that you hit your head at around 12 years old, and it essentially put you into a coma, and you never woke up again after this.
Oh.
And so, because it was very sharp pain up through my eye and around to the top of my head. So I feel like you had stitches. There was a long time where you had like your head shaped, but for whatever reason, this didn't kill you. It just like put you in a coma. And the worst part is in this life is that you could hear your family speak to you and you could hear your mother speak to you, but you could not wake up and you could not respond. It was like being trapped. Your soul was trapped inside your body. And so in this lifetime, you might have a really hard time with accepting situations or people who make you feel like you cannot use your voice.
I
This
feel
could,
like she talks a lot too. I feel like she's
yes,
very opinionated and likes to
yes,
speak
and
her
it's
mind.
yes, and because if you don't, it felt and what they told me was that your mom kept you alive like this for 5 years until she was finally able to let you go. So that was 5 years of you not being able to speak, of you not being able to open your eyes and not be able to tell your mom, "I'm sorry, I love you." You heard her cry, you heard her beg for you to wake up, and you just couldn't. It gives me goosebumps because it was horrible for you to experience this. Um, and it was also horrible for your mom in this lifetime because you guys, she couldn't let you go. And so I just feel like carried through this lifetime, you are not going to find yourself in a position where you cannot speak up for yourself or other people, and that you're going to use you have to be able to use your voice.
It's okay.
Dragon gave up on me and went downstairs because I wouldn't let her have my pen.
I love castles too. I think they're amazing.
I just think
Sometimes I
that's
feel
super
like I can't say what I
interesting.
want.
Sometimes I feel like I
Okay.
can't say what I want. Yes, and how does that make you feel? Does it give you like anxiety of some sort? Because that would make sense. Like if you were like, I know that I should say something in this situation, but I feel like I shouldn't. And that could cause a physical reaction for you or an emotional reaction.
Okay, buddy.
Because 5 years of not being able to speak is torture.
My mother was cold. Well, she definitely wasn't in this particular
No, she
lifetime
wasn't.
because
No,
she cared very deeply for you and took very good
and
care of you.
and she couldn't let you go. It was very heartbreaking for her. And it was finally one day. I feel like it might have been your dad also in this life that was finally like, we have to let him go. He's not going to wake up. But your mom kept hoping that your condition would change, but you had a severe brain injury. You so you could even deal with headaches too in this lifetime as well because you hit your head right here. Also, are you scared of stairs? Do you feel a little bit like because you fell down a large
Always like
flight of
hold
stairs?
on for dear life when
Yes,
you're
like
walking
do you
down because you're afraid to fall.
yes.
I could see that. I could also see being afraid to drive fast in cars because you got hit by a car. So, you know, my dad was my best friend. Oh, yes, terrible migraines. Well, the terrible migraines were from the brain injury.
That
And
makes
I also
sense.
feel like from the car accident, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you have had it rough a couple of times.
You've had a few
Absolutely.
rough lifetimes, girl.
You know, we all suffer, don't like stairs or elevators.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it took I mean, not only did it take your life, but you suffered for 5 years. And you don't like spiders either.
What you doing, Jack?
But do you like castles?
But do you like castles
But do
though?
you like castles though? Because you
Or
love
pictures
castles.
of castles?
Yep, drawing castles or researching castles. I like to drive fast, she says. Oh, shit.
She loves them. Yeah, there's
Okay.
definitely some things that are coming through
I
from
don't
other
know
lifetimes and it's
I don't know
resonating. So it's awesome.
I don't know if you, have ever considered visiting a castle, but maybe that should be like a bucket list thing where you go
I
visit a
would
castle.
totally be the person opening every door in every room to see.
100%. I would be so thrilled to see a castle. Like, I would be
Like
like,
I wanna look in
I
the closets. I wanna look in all
I
of
was
it.
I know
2
you have a
cars, 1 for
secret
each
hidden room around here.
foot. 2 cars, 1 for each foot. Yeah, yeah, I know there's a secret room. Is there some
Yeah,
kind of
I there
panel under the bed? Like, where do you hide when
yes.
there's a war? Like,
I know I would wanna see all of it. Where's the dungeon?
where's the dungeon? I wanna go to Scotland. You should go. You should go check out the castles, man. You should do
We'll
it.
have to add that to our bucket list, friend, that you and I, at some
I
point in our
told you
this
I was
lifetime,
manifesting a trip next year to
we'll
Ireland.
go to a castle. Imagine all
Looking
the
for I'm gonna
spirits
look at my family roots.
we can, like, connect with
How
so many spirits in a castle.
Sure. Where's the dungeon?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, you know, like I've found myself uh in Ireland, astro.
traveling, a little astro visit.
A little astral traveling during the daylight hours, you know, all of a sudden I'm like standing on this, I don't know what the hell it's called, a moor, and the wind's blowing, and I'm wearing a cardigan sweater, and it's like, it's so freaking green. I want to go to Ireland. My family is from there. My family is from there also, Cheryl. My family is from the Naughton, or as they said it here, Norton, but it's Naughton. Naughton, and I'm not sure what area they're from, but um, I am a quarter Irish and a lot of French. 3/4 French and a quarter Irish. So I do have family there. I had a psychic once upon a time tell me that I was related to the Kennedys, but you know, psychics. You can't believe a word they say.
Can't believe them all. Trust. Now, why would you say that?
My son messaged me and I just saw, what did he say? Hold on a second. He messaged me yesterday. Remember I told you he was taking motorcycle classes? He messaged me, just saw a commercial for a phone psychic that looked like it was made in 2001. They had wired phones. And I'm like,
Oh, shit. You know what this bit oh, this one. You know what this bitch
yep,
did to me today? She texted
what?
me and said, "My dog just got picked up by the police just came and took my dog." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "For unpaid barking tickets." And I was like, "You fucking" I said, "You're fucking stupid." It scared the shit out of me because first of all, she wasn't home. So I was like, her daughter is over there, and the cops just showed up and took her dog. And she goes, "Unpaid barking tickets." And my response was, "You're fucking stupid." I
It's
did
like,
laugh.
I know.
I did laugh though, but I was like, for a minute, my stomach just sunk because I was like, why would they come and get George? Because I knew it would have been George. Because they wouldn't have taken Riley.
I love dad jokes. They're my favorite. I saw
God
that and I
damn
was
it.
like, oh, I gotta tell.
And I was like, don't do that to me.
what? She's like, what?
It scared me. I was like, what? Unpaid parking tickets. And I was like, immediately, I was like, don't do that to me. And she was laughing.
Oh, it's the worst. Oh, it's okay. Well,
Horrible.
oh man. Okay. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We truly
Thank you, guys.
appreciate you. We hope that these past life readings that we've done for you has helped you understand your current situation, your likes and dislikes, different things that are
Habits.
motivating you. Yeah, things that are still connected to your energy from different timelines. Sometimes things happen and they really leave a really strong signature in your energy. And that's why we pull it forward with us into new timelines. And of course, it's all light refracting through crystals. So it's all going to be a reflection. Everything has a reflection from something in the past. Every life that you have is going to have some kind of reflection from something that's already happened. Okay, so it's a continuation. It gets diluted over time. So these are the past lives, like the most recent ones that are still having a strong effect on your life, strong enough that you can actually see the synchronicities and the parallels. So thank you all. I used to do the same
Thank
with
you
Mom
all.
and tell her she was welcome for artery cleaning. Well, oh man, I saw it and I died laughing and I was like, who can I tell this to? I was like,
I was like,
I didn't want to give my mom an actual heart attack. So, well, thank you kindly, sir. I do appreciate you popping in.
thank you so much, Christopher.
You're such a gentleman, Christopher.
It's very lovely to speak with you tonight. It's such a fine evening. Sure hope you'll come round again. What you fixing to do later?
I can't wait to do this with you guys again. Hey, I'm doing really good lately, y'all. This week, I've been coming here every other day and doing readings for y'all, and I'm so proud of myself. I've been
We've been
so
doing good.
inconsistent this past year. Like this last year, I have really struggled to stay consistent, and consistency is so freaking important to me. But it's
Yes,
just
it
been a
is.
struggle. I was just
Tough.
going through so much transition. Yeah, I was just transitioning to a lot of different timelines, and here I'm good where I'm at now. I like where I'm at. I was thinking that
I'm
the very
just
first
not a
thing I thought
consistent
this
person.
morning when I came into consciousness was how much I love my life. You know, I'm like, man, I really love my life. So I'm good where I'm at.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know, so hopefully this is a good sign. We'll be here every other day or so. I'm doing great. I feel great. Everything's
I know
wonderful.
I'm not a consistent person at all, so I'm never going to say that because I'm just not a
Right? She's
consistent
like, I will
person.
never be consistent.
I don't know if I ever will be, to be honest, but I have been better,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Yes,
appreciative
yeah,
of that.
better. You've made a lot of great improvements in your life. I feel like you've taken the knowledge that you've learned and turned it into wisdom by putting in the steps that keeps you from repeating mistakes, you know, and
I mean, I'm still gonna do stupid shit, but
me too. Like I
we're
really
dummies.
am.
We're
I'm gonna go.
dummies. We're dummies
I'm gonna
sometimes.
go. I'm gonna go to that bar. It's gonna happen. I would love for you to come with me.
But if you don't, I'm gonna go.
But I would love for you to come with me. But anyway.
Okay, guys, we'll get off. We'll stop bugging you.
All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. We'll see you on the flip side.